Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you how to make this ring. I'm actually calling it the Tuffet ring because it reminds me of a tuffet. And what I've used is a ring finding and some crystal clay, a bead cap, and various sizes of Swarovski Elements crystal chatons. So this ring is not hard to make. I think it has a really fun, very blingy appearance to it. And like I said, it's not too hard to make. So we're going to do it here in pink with rose chatons. So I have a Nunn Design bezel ring. It's got a nice design on the back. It's adjustable. It's got this great bezel setting to it. And then I've got this bell-shaped bead cap that I'm going to turn upside down and put in the center of the ring. I've got cotton candy crystal clay and 3 sizes of chatons. I've got SS24, PP24, and PP10. And then what came with my crystal clay kit was a pair of latex gloves and this little pick which has some wax on the tip, which is going to allow me to pick up my chatons and set them down into my clay. So I'm going to don the gloves. If you've worked with crystal clay before, you'll know that you need equal parts of A, which is the color, and B, which is the hardener. This I've used before, this pack. And to get an idea of how much you need, you're just going to have to estimate it. And I'm going to just put that in there. I can tell that's already too much for half of it. Pinch off a little bit. Put it back. That might be about right. I'd rather be a little over than a little under. And what I like to do to make sure I have equal parts is I take each one, I roll it into a ball, and I set it down on my table. And I see if my balls look even. It looks like I have a little bit more hardener than the pink clay. Just going to pinch it off, re-roll it, and see what I have. And those look pretty even. So you're going to take them, squish them together, and you're going to keep mixing them until all striations are gone and you have a nice uniform color. Okay, once you've mixed it and it's uniform, go ahead and roll it into a ball. And set it down on a clean work surface. I'm actually going to take my gloves off at this point. And then if you are taking your gloves off, just make sure that after you're done working with your clay, you do thoroughly wash your hands with soap and water. So it's a little bit easier for me to get a smoother ball with just my hands. And make sure your hands are clean, of course. All right, so take that ball and set it down into the middle of your bezel and press down. Now we're going to take our bead cap and we're going to put it down the opposite direction of what you would normally think to use it as, and it's in the center. Just press it down. And I'm just working to make sure it has a nice uniform shape to it. There we go. And now I want to mix up a little bit more clay to go into the center. You could go ahead and just mix a little bit, mix the whole batch and then pinch a little bit off and keep that aside. But I'm just going to make a little bit more. Okay, and that actually is probably too much. And pinch it. Roll it into a ball again. And I'm going to drop it into the center. And actually, I think that's still a little bit much. And I'm just going to drop that into the center. And I'm going to place my first chaton. I just want to make sure this is perfectly even because I don't want to do any more adjusting on the clay itself at this point. You have quite a bit of work time here, but it's nice to get it uniform before you start placing your chatons. So I'm going to start with the largest one, which is going to go right into the center. And the wax on the tip here, easily grab that. Just going to press it down. You want the edge of the chaton to just be under the level of clay. Right, so there's the first one. Now I'm going to take the smallest chaton and put it in each corner. There should be enough clay there to grip the chaton. If you want, after it's all done, you can try to take your nail and see if you can dislodge those. If you do dislodge one, just use some E6000 to put it back in place, but it should stay fine. But these are the only ones that don't quite have as much clay gripping them. But I think they add a nice element to the design. Okay, and we're still center. So now we're going to do a nice even row of the PP24s all the way around the edge. So we're just going to start with one, place it as close to the silver edge, or in this case silver, but your ring finding might be a different color. Just press it into place. We're just going to work our way around. You don't want them to touch each other. You want a little space between each, but you do want them as close as you can get them without touching. When you get close to the end, you want to see if you're going to have space for one or two. It looks like I'm going to have space for two here. If it's a close call, you don't want to have the chatons overlap, but you might also need to have a little bit more space between the last couple ones. So just kind of keep in mind when you get towards the end of your round where you're at and how much space to put between each of them. You just want it to be uniform. Okay, so that row is done. Now I'm going to add, like you can see in here, I've got a smaller chaton, the PP10s, that is between every other one. So in the little gap between the two larger stones, I've put the smaller one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. And you can really create whatever pattern you want. This is just one pattern I came up with, but you can load the whole thing with chatons, you can do stripes, you can do whatever you like. All right, so when you're done, inspect your ring, look at it from all sides, and see if you need to adjust your clay at all. So I'm noticing that it looks like this side is a little squashed. So I'm just going to take my fingers. It's a clean finger again. I'm just going to press my clay and mold it how I want it. You don't want to stretch out your clay. You don't want to do this with too heavy of a hand. So a nice light touch. And you're also then helping to reinforce the bond between the crystal and the clay by patting your crystals down a little. Okay, inspect your ring again, check it from all sides, make sure you're happy with it, and when you are, what you're going to do is you're going to keep it in an upright position and let it cure overnight. So I'm just going to take, actually I have a kumihimo plate right here. It happened to be on my work table. See if I can balance it on there. There we go. So I'll just let it dry like that overnight, and then you'll have a ring which is ready to wear. And you can find the full instructions for this project on the Beadaholique.com website under our free projects section.